Hey there, I'm Sully, and as always, welcome to the Gun Club. Alrighty, today we're doing a live update for Tuesday, April 16th, 2024. We're live on both YouTube and Rumble, so as long as we're on YouTube, I have to be a little bit careful with what I say. I will tell you that if you missed it on, I believe it was Saturday night, I had a little Rumble-only rant. I talked a little bit about gun control laws and why, sometimes we just fight against these gun control laws, not because, we're trying to be mean or we want people to get hurt, or it's because these gun control laws are so epically poorly conceived. They're not going to address the problem, and all they do is make criminals out of good guys while the bad guys continue to go out and do bad guy stuff. It's, we've seen it time and time again. As a matter of fact, if you look at some of the cities with the strictest gun laws, what do we find? Oh, yeah, some of the most gun crime. Now, either that means they need more gun laws, or maybe they need more armed citizens to make the criminals think twice about doing stupid stuff. We can have that debate. Personally, I'm a big believer in, getting out there and having more armed citizens because I think that worked better. Oh, got to give a quick shout out here. I see a couple of people made it in the chat really, really early. We had Mr. Scott Awesome telling me that he just could not wait a little bit longer. That's fine. I'm sorry for making you wait, Scott. I hate to do that to you, but it is what it is. And, why do I wait? Well, I'd hate to launch prematurely. That might get a little bit messy. And, of course, we've got Mary over there in the YouTube chat. Good evening, ma'am. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. I know she told me she is waiting. So that's okay. I'm here. I promise. I'm really here. I said 7:45. It looks like about 7:45. So I figure we're kind of good with that. Hope everybody had a decent weekend. Hope everybody enjoyed giving your conquest over to Uncle Sam yesterday. I'm sure everyone enjoyed that. As a small business owner, I can promise you once a quarter we get to, go through that drama. Always fun. Beyond that, I have to say I had a really, really, really great weekend. I did the Saturday night stream as far as gun laws, but Saturday afternoon, I got to go out to the gun show over here in Greenville. It was put on by Great American Gun Shows, I think is the name of the company. They do them in Greenville and Spartanburg. They also do them, I believe, in Tennessee and a few other places. And got to go there and meet with some cool vendors and chat with some stuff. I got to get a custom holster made for a pistol I've had for a while. It's actually a Smith Shield, but it came with the little crimson red trace laser on the bottom of it. So it was one of those things of kind of hard to buy one off the rack. So I was like, yeah, can you make one custom for this? He's like, yeah, sure. He knocked it out. And, I had a chance to talk with some other, small independent businessmen and women while we were there. Great folks overall. I got to say, if you really want to know what the 2A community is about and you're not that familiar with it, flip through, find out when there's a local gun and knife show. Just go out there. Usually the admission is somewhere $10, $15, sometimes more, sometimes less. Sometimes they do door prizes, sometimes they don't. But you get to go out there and you get to sort of chat about different things, about self-defense, about firearms, about all kinds of cool stuff. And, to me, I enjoy supporting the gun show. I enjoy supporting the local vendors. Again, I bought the holster at that one. Last time I was out, it was at Spartanburg, and I was actually talking to the guy. And the young lady who works with him was either a wife or a girlfriend or something or other. And you could tell they're just, young couple running a business, doing their thing. And, I love to support the small business. I'll go to the big box stores. I'll buy my Smith firearms from the big box Smith & Wesson. I'll buy my, stuff from PSA sometimes. But I also enjoy helping out the small local merchants sometimes that are working on a shoestring budget, probably out of his garage or whatever else. So, yeah, he went ahead, did a beautiful custom holster. Very happy with it. Very nice fit, custom finished. He was able to do it in the color I wanted, right-handed, everything else. So very happy with that. And again, glad to support the small business because, hey, I know what it's like trying to run a small business. Beyond that, a couple of interesting things over the last week or so, and I want to touch base on a couple of them. And then we're going to get into the updates for the week because, boy, there have been a couple of updates this week. A couple of really interesting things have dropped on us, and I just want to sort of add those in. One thing I definitely want to touch on is this. There was a debate, it was a gun control debate. David Hogg, who, if you're not familiar with David Hogg, he's the little cockroach who stands on the bodies from his classmates who were killed in the tragedy at Parkland. And he then used that to get himself accepted into Harvard, went through Harvard, and he is one of the super duper anti-gun activists who will never be able to explain why he is trying to do this. Just he was involved in a school shooting, and I say involved, meaning possibly he went to the school at the time it happened. We don't even know if he was on the property. But on the other side of the coin, he's just being him. He was doing a gun control debate with Spike Cohen, and you can see a lot of the debate on Spike Cohen's channel. However, there was a lady in the audience, and if you're not familiar with this lady, it is the lovely Miss Lily Tang Williams. Lily Tang Williams, she is from China. She is actually a true escapee from the PRC of China, and she wanted to talk to Mr. Hogg about his opinion on gun control, and it got kind of interesting. So let's see what Miss Lily Tang Williams has to say. Now, before I start this up, Lily is currently running for office up in New Hampshire, the Live Free or Die state. You'll hear her mention that. But, Lily for Liberty, she's been real active, not only in, true liberty, true freedom causes, but she's also been real active in improving schools and trying to improve our school system and get some of the junk out of our schools that, our kids don't really need, so to speak. So let's see who we've got with Miss Lily Tang Williams here.
Hi, my name is Lily Tang Williams. Welcome to my Live Free or Die state. Actually, I am a Chinese immigrant who survived communism. And under Mao, 40 million people were starving to death after he sold communism to them. And 20 million people died, murdered during his Cultural Revolution. So my question to you, David, is that can you guarantee me, a gun owner tonight, our government in the US, in DC, will never become a tyrannical government? Can you guarantee that to me?
There's no way I can ever guarantee that any government will not be tyrannical.
Well, then the debate on gun control is over because I will never give up my guns. Never. And you should go to China to see how gun control works for dictatorship of CCP. Hi.
Yeah, folks, that is Miss Lily Tang Williams. She's a little spitfire. I've seen her on Timcast IRL a couple times. She's just absolutely, call it like she sees it. She'll be very honest with you. And she's one of the people who said, I've watched communism take over. I've seen what communism does to people. And she believes, as many of us do, that the Second Amendment is our protection from communism or anything along those lines. So, yeah, kind of fun watching Lily Tang Williams hand it to David Hogg. And, by the end of it, you could tell he wasn't having a real good day. When it was all said and done, he got roasted in the debate, and then he got roasted by a few people afterwards. By the end of it, crowd was giving her a standing ovation, and he was just sitting there with his head in his hands, wondering what just happened to him, how, here he is, Mr. Harvard graduate, and he just had a little immigrant lady school him on freedom, school him on liberty, and school him on the Second Amendment. All righty, I see we've got a few more people wandering on in. I appreciate that. If you would, please go ahead, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, share the stream out, do what we can to get a few more people in here. We always enjoy it. I do this stuff not only just because it's fun and stress relief, but I also do it to try to share information with everybody from the firearms world and the community. I've got a few incident updates on some pretty significant incidences that we've been following. Now, when I mentioned the update from Rich Neck, Virginia, for those of y'all may or may not remember Rich Neck, Virginia, I'll give you the quick scoop on it. Rich Neck, Virginia was a shooting that happened back January 6th, of 2023, where a 6-year-old child shot his teacher. A 6-year-old, yes, I said 6, shot his teacher. Now, I understand we can get into a lot of debate about this, and I covered this when it first happened. I covered a couple of follow-ups on it, and it had sort of gone cold for a while. And if you go back, and I'll try to find the link for it at some point, maybe post it in the comments section, but I ranted hard. I ranted very, very hard on this. Actually, I had a couple of people call me out on it. Had one send me an email that was kind of amusing just because of the fact that I went off on the school. I went off on the assistant principal involved. I went off on several individuals, and I really felt like it was well-deserved. And I got basically told, well, you wouldn't do that if they were, yeah, you can guess. Let's just say if they didn't have a tan, I wouldn't have been so tough on everybody. Okay. Look, I caught grief after the whole thing when the Crumbley trial went on. I said, no, I did say I did not follow it very closely, but, I think there should be some degree of punishment for mom and dad who go out and buy a handgun and leave a loaded SIG laying around where the emotionally vulnerable child can get his hands on it, and he takes it to school and does some bad things to his classmates. I did not have a major problem. Now, do I think it should be manslaughter? We can have that debate. But I think there should be something. Yes, I support firearm ownership in the 2A 100%. I support responsible firearm ownership. Personally, I think everybody should keep and bear arms. I have 2 of them. But on the other side of that coin, let's be responsible about it. And irresponsible gun owners give the responsible ones a bad name. Like the schmucks who leave the loaded gun in their car, like the schmucks who, work for Capitol Police and leave the gun in the toilet. I think he's done it twice. Like the chief of one of the Hawaiian police departments who accidentally left a gun in his lobby. Yes, his service pistol, he accidentally left in the restroom in the lobby. Like the police officer who tried to hang his firearm up on the hook of the back of the door and managed to discharge it. I don't care, cop, not. Irresponsibility with firearms is a pet peeve of mine. I take the right to have my firearms, but I think it comes with responsibility, and that's one I take seriously. Well, again, with any right, responsibility comes with it. So let's get back to Rich Neck here. Now, Rich Neck, Virginia. This happened again back in 2023. Teacher shot by 6-year-old student. It later came out that multiple teachers had gone to the assistant principal that day, stating the students had reported another student having a firearm. The student who had the firearm was 6 years old, had an extensive history of aggression and violence in the classroom, had previously threatened to beat up younger students in the school, had basically been on a behavioral plan because of issues in the school that were so atrocious that, at one point they had it where one of the parents had to be with the child in school all day. So known behavioral problem, known loose cannon kid. Okay, fine. I don't know what his issues are. If he's that, loose cannon that we have to have the parents with him, we need to come up with some accommodation. I want the child to be able to get an education. But when you hear that kid of all kids possibly has a gun, and multiple teachers have said, my students are telling me he was showing this off. My students are telling me this, that, and the other. And, nothing happens. At 1:59 that day, the student pulls the firearm out of his pocket, and the teacher basically is sitting there at her desk, and she puts her hand up to protect herself. He shoots her through the hand into the chest. The bullet fragmented. She's still got fragments in her chest. The teacher is 25-year-old Abby Zwirner. I've got to give her a standing round of applause because Abby Zwirner, 25-year-old teacher in a first grade class, was shot at close range with a 9mm Taurus and had the presence of mind not only to get her kids out of the classroom to safety, but then to go down to the office. Apparently, when she arrived down at the office, the principal and assistant principal who had heard the gunshot go off had both locked themselves in their offices with the doors closed. Yeah. The 25-year-old teacher who got shot is making sure her kids are accounted for. The principal and assistant principal, the assistant principal especially, who had been told all day about the gun, well, no, she wasn't. She hiding in her office. So let's go a little bit in deep on this. Again, the shooting happened January 6th. On January 4th, 2 days before the shooting, the student took Zwirner's cell phone, the teacher, and slammed it on the ground so hard that it shattered. Zwirner took the student to the lead teacher and called school security. School security did not respond. She called the guidance department. The guidance counselor came to the classroom, and the student called them all bitches. He was suspended for 1 day. On the morning of January 6th, the day of the shooting, the student came back to the school with his mom, who then left him there. During lunchtime, Zwirner told the assistant principal of Rich Neck Elementary at that time, Ebony Parker, that the student was in a violent mood and had already threatened to beat up a kindergartner during lunchtime. Parker had no response, didn't even look up at Zwirner when she expressed the concern. Another teacher in the room during the time witnessed Zwirner being practically ignored. God, this isn't going to work out well. Assistant Principal Parker had a reputation for ignoring concerns from teachers. Teachers expressed similar concerns when she was the assistant principal at her previous assignment. Teachers said Parker would let the students get away with misconduct, and students would often brag about getting candy from the assistant principal. Wow, this is not going to go well, I have a feeling. At 11:45, two students informed reading specialist Amy Kovach that the student had a gun in his backpack. When Kovach asked the student if he had a gun, he said he did not, but refused to hand over the backpack and told her he was angry. People were picking on him. Okay, so let's see how this is going. The faculty, the reading specialist, is being told by the first grader what he will and will not do. So, hey, she follows her chain of command. When at recess at 12:30, Zwirner told another first grade teacher, Jennifer West, that she saw the student take something out of his backpack, thought it may be a weapon. West observed the student and his friend and noticed they kept going behind a rock climbing wall on the playground, hiding something. Okay, I mean, I did that law enforcement thing for a while. They've probably got probable cause right now for the search pretty well. Besides, it's a school. You don't even need PC. But let's keep going. During recess, Kovach also told Zwirner that she saw the student take something out of the book bag and put it in a hoodie pocket. Kovach searched the student's backpack but did not find a weapon. Kovach went to the school office, told assistant principal Ebony Parker, follow that name, Ebony Parker, yeah, we're going to get there, that the student told other kids he had a gun, and that Zwirner saw the student put something in his hoodie pocket. Parker responded that the student's pockets were too small to hold a handgun and took no further action. West pulled the student's friend aside after recess, who was crying, and told West, "I can't share what he told him out of fear he's going to hurt me." The friend then told West the student showed him a gun. So he's not only got it, he's terrorizing other students with it. We can see where this is going. Okay, and again, you remember, I got a lot of heat for coming down on the school. Well, I'm just going back through the details, folks, because she gets worse. West kept the friend in the classroom because she feared him being near the student. She then contacted the school's office. A music teacher answered the phone and told West he would inform Parker of the situation. Okay, Ebony, you're the assistant principal. Come on, Ebony. Do something, sunshine. Get off your ass. Maybe give him something besides candy. At 1:11, Sims called West to tell her he had told Assistant Principal Parker. Parker told Sims she was aware of the threat, and the student's backpack had already been searched. No further action was taken, despite clarification that it was believed the gun was now on the student's person, not in the backpack. A guidance counselor, Rolando Rolls, then asked Assistant Principal Parker for permission to search the student's person for a firearm. Parker refused. Now, this is again after all this. Ebony Parker refused to grant permission and said the student's mother would be arriving soon to pick him up. What big deal. At 1:59, the student pulled a firearm out of the pocket, aimed it at Warner, and shot her while she was sitting at her reading table in the classroom. Yeah. There you go. I got a lot of heat for that one because I sat here and I said then, and I will say now, and I don't a lot of times throw names out here, but I will on this one. I make certain exceptions. Ebony Parker, you failed epically. I don't care what you do in the school. I really don't care how the, hallways, if they're, sparkly or clean, or what's up on the bulletin boards, or, the budget, you kind of get away with doing a lot of stupid stuff with that. And how about we try to keep the kids safe? A kid with a known behavioral issue has potentially got a firearm in the school. And you think it's too small for it to fit in his pocket? You do nothing after hearing from multiple colleagues, not one teacher who's making something up because she doesn't like him and being mean. No, nay, fluff. How many kids come in and tell you, and then the kid who sees it on the playground, who is crying so hard and can't go back to his classroom, he's afraid to even tell the teacher. So he's being terrorized by this little kid. Yeah, there we are. This is our life, folks. This is our life. Now, before we go any further, let's see who we've got in the chat so much. Mel is here tonight. Yes, this makes me so angry. My sister's a teaching assistant and has been in situations where she has gotten zero support from administration over a student with significant behavioral issues. Yeah, I agree. I've seen behavioral issues gone horribly badly. That's bad enough, but when you go to the assistant principal repeatedly about a GUN, come on. And Scott's here. Howdy, Minnie. Mr. Scott, I don't know if you saw my comment earlier. I did remark as far as your statement as far as you couldn't wait much longer. All I'm going to say is, I'm sorry to make you wait, but I just didn't want to do anything prematurely. Yep. And here's the potential results. We don't listen to the teachers who are in front of the kids. We don't listen to the ones who know them best. What do we have happen? Well, teacher gets shot. Imagine that. But don't worry. This one has a little bit of a happier ending. That's right. If the pocket doesn't fit, you must acquit. Yeah. Unfortunately, the pocket fit. It fit a Taurus 9. Mini there, and let's see. Icons 2020 lawful video exposed. Pfizer weaponized. Not familiar with that one. I may look at it later, but okay, cool. Now, here's where this gets a little bit more interesting. In the aftermath of it, Mom got charged in April of 2023, about 3 months later, with child neglect because she recklessly left the firearm accessible. Now, there was a question in the beginning. Where does a 6-year-old get a Taurus 9? Yeah, I know. At least it wasn't a high point. I get it, but that's not the point. Mom stated, and it was lawfully purchased by Mom, and I support Mama's right to have her 2A rights. I support her keeping and bearing them 100%. She's a legal firearms owner. Cool. Do it responsibly, lady. Mom stated that she kept the firearm locked up in a lockbox on the top of her closet. That was what was stated. When they were investigating that claim, they went by Mama's house with a search warrant. And when they went up there with the search warrant, there was not even a lockbox in the house. So if there's no lockbox in the house, sort of like, what are we going to do? If there's no lockbox in the house, That kind of makes it kind of difficult for the lockbox to be something that's going on. Mom's lockbox just doesn't exist. She also stated that she would keep it locked with a trigger lock on it, like a lock run through it, in her purse. Okay, that's all well and wonderful. She, however, did not show the trigger lock anywhere. So she had this gun that was apparently stuffed in her purse, not locked. And Mom, I don't believe, had a permit. And at that time, Virginia required a permit to carry. So Mom was carrying illegally. But now, I don't care. Keep it secure. Keep it away from your 6-year-old son who's so violent that you have to go sit with him in school every day. I also wonder how many times Mama went up and sat with him in school and had that pistol on school grounds, but we won't get into that. They went a little further and did some other investigating, and it turned out they found a whole bunch of drugs and paraphernalia in the house, primarily marijuana, but a few other things, I believe. And she got also charged with a drug charge in June of 2023. Again, Mom always claims she kept everything all locked up and safe. She didn't. Again, anyone out there watching this, if you need a trigger lock, let me know. Hit me up. You've got the address, the email address. I will get a trigger lock to you. I will do that. Not a problem in the world with it. If you need help coming up with ways to store something securely, I'll come up with ways. And I'm talking ways on a budget, because we can do it cheap. We can ball in on a budget. Let's keep these firearms safe and locked up. We know criminals can't go out and buy them. We know 15-year-olds can't go out and buy them. Why do we have 15-year-olds or 6-year-olds running around with them? Well, the newest developments we have, because again, we're sort of in June 2023, they did a special grand jury report that was released and unsealed 4/9 of 24. Part of the report includes an indictment of Assistant Principal Ebony Parker. She's been indicted on 8 counts of child abuse by way of neglect. Each one can carry a term of up to 5 years. It further cited many other security lapses at the school. They went up one side, down the other. Now, Ebony had already been transferred to another school, but she is now got 8 counts of child abuse by way of neglect on her. Folks, I gotta say it. I called her out for failing at her job. I called her out for, I remember the statement very, very plainly that, look, keep your kids safe. As a principal, you're responsible for those under you. I understand it's a leadership thing. When the people below you in your chain of command are not safe, you, Ebony, are not doing your job, and you failed epically at keeping the kids in your care and your staff safe. One of your employees got shot because of your inaction. Therefore, you're an epic failure. And I strongly suggest, Ebony, instead of transferring to another school, you go transfer to McDonald's. And all I ask is you don't screw up my order at the drive-thru. Okay, Ebony? Yeah, I'm calling it out. I'm calling Mama out for leaving a gun lying around. Again, 50 Shades of Stupid. Irresponsibility on the part of Mom leaving a gun lying around. On the part of Ebony for not doing a damn thing after how many times she was told. And I was called before that, well, I was just doing it because I'm a big old meanie head. Well, wrong answer. And I agree, Mel. Yay for accountability. I know Mama had been charged. I'd followed that. And I thought it was good that Mama got charged at least with the leaving a gun laying around, because that is a charge in the Commonwealth of Virginia. As far as the drug charge, personally, if she's smoking a little MJ, I don't care. Please don't smoke and carry a gun. But, smoking a little MJ between friends, who gives a rat's butt? I know plenty of people who smoke plenty of green. It ain't like I'm going to be upset because Mama rolling a blunt. I'm going to be upset that, Junior's packing a 9. Much more than Mama packing a bowl. That being said, yeah. They pretty much reamed the district. They reamed the principal. They reamed the assistant principal, Ebony Parker, and, called it all out. And I love that. I really do. It's, it's not that I love someone getting in trouble. It's that, again, yay for accountability. And I'm going to just jump up and down on that one all day. Someone has to be accountable when 3 teachers, 4 teachers, plus the language learning lady all go to the assistant principal complaining about a kid with a gun, a 6-year-old with a gun in class. And the assistant principal's like, oh, don't worry about it. He's 6. He couldn't have a real gun. And then a teacher gets shot. I mean, fortunately, Abby Warner is alive. She has filed a $40 million lawsuit. The school district tried to fight her on that and say, oh, no, it's just a workers' comp issue. And she actually made it past that motion because of the fact that they said the school was grossly negligent. Imagine that. This coming out, her attorney was sort of happy about this. I want accountability for this. That's all I ask for. Be accountable. Like I said, the whole Crumbly case, do I think they need to be that accountable for counts of manslaughter? We can debate that. But some accountability for leaving your pew-pews laying around. Come on. Secure your firearms, people. Please, please, please. Now we have a little bit more accountability. Yeah, I think that policy, the whole theme for tonight is going to be, let's be accountable for what we do. We're all adults around here. Yes, if you're not familiar with the Rust shooting, a while back, let's just say October of 2021 or so, there was a shooting on the set of Rust. It was a movie they were filming out in the beautiful area of New Mexico. Well, about a week and a half ago, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the armorer on Rust, the one who actually physically loaded, or we believe physically loaded, or the live round into the firearm that later killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins, she was on trial. And after about 3 hours of deliberation, the jury came back with a guilty verdict, basically charged her with involuntary manslaughter. And involuntary manslaughter, really simple, means involuntary means I did it accidentally. She didn't go into work that day planning on whacking the cinematographer, but she did something with careless recklessness, and it resulted in a death. So therefore, boom. Alec Baldwin was also charged with the same thing. His trial has not come up yet. But the sentencing for Hannah Gutierrez Reed happened this week. Now, after being found guilty, Hannah was taken into custody by the local law enforcement, and she was in the jail. Hannah apparently was not the smartest person in the equation. She was not the brightest bulb in the string or the sharpest tool in the shed. Hannah had a lot to say on the phone to her various friends who were calling her while she was in jail. Folks, pro tip here. If you're ever in jail, your calls are monitored and recorded. Your calls are monitored and recorded. The only time they're not is contact with your lawyer or a member of their staff. They can't do that. But the calls with your mama, your daddy, your baby mama, your girlfriend, your homeboy, Pookie and Ray Ray, whatever else, when you call them and say, hey, man, ditch that gun that's under my bed so I don't get clipped with it, guess what? They can go ahead and get there and pick up the gun that was under your bed. They monitor your calls. Simple as that. Well, Hannah, while she was in jail for this few days, managed to talk to several of her friends and state that how this was a waste of her time, how it was interfering with her modeling career. I don't know if Hannah's going to do much modeling. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she can get a gig modeling for some off-budget Lane Bryant or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, Hannah, she doesn't seem to be the model type. I don't know. I know they can do miracles with airbrushing these days, so possibly, okay? I'd be the queen of photoshopping. But anyway, it was totally, a mess as far as, the judge was, a bitch, and the jury was a bunch of effing R words, and it was great. all about 50 Shades of why she wasn't really guilty of this. It's a waste of her time, and she shouldn't spend any time in jail. Yeah, Alec Murdaugh unavailable for comment. Yeah, your calls are monitored. Trust me. Yeah, I think Miss Mouse can tell you that. She knows a little bit about the law, just a little bit. Anyway, she goes off on these tangents. Nothing was her fault. It was all Alec Baldwin's fault. It was all this. It was all that. These people were stupid. No one would listen to her. Again, the judge is a female canine. Everything you could possibly think, she said. So the prosecutor at the sentencing had clips of all of it. And she, in one of the phone calls, actually said that she needed someone to contact her attorney so that way her attorney would get Helena Hutchins' family, the woman who died's family, to come in and testify on her behalf. Yeah, maybe she can model for the prison outfits. I don't know. Is there like a great jumpsuit modeling career or something? I don't know. But so anyway, she went before the judge, and if you want all the details on it, Ian Runkle, who's a Canadian firearms attorney, does a lot of stuff on YouTube. He actually read through not only the good letters on her behalf, talking about what a wonderful human being she was, and then he read through some of the stuff that was being submitted on the prosecutor's side and filed on there. He read through the pre-filings the day before, and we all took bets. I bet in there that she'd get between 6 and 12 months. The maximum on it was 18 months, and Hannah caught 18 months. Yes, that's right. And instead of just getting 18 months in state pen, no. Hannah got 18 months. Yeah, up the river. So there she is, folks, ladies and gentlemen, Hannah Gutierrez Reed. And I hate it for her dad, Phil Reed, who is an absolute brilliant person in the firearms industry, well-respected, well-loved across the board. Phil, I'm sorry, man. He's one of the original, like 6 horsemen of the apocalypse from the old school cowboy shooter days. Brilliant guy, and I know this has got to be killing him, especially with him having leukemia, for his little girl to be going to jail. But you know what? Accountability one more time. Yes, exactly. Yay for accountability. Somebody died. And I mean, the judge pretty well ripped her a new one, which was kind of fun to watch. The judge basically stated that, there was one person who could have done their job better. It's not, you try to blame everyone else. You try to, the jury didn't deliberate long enough. The jury didn't listen to your side of the story. Nobody was giving you a chance to explain what really happened. Well, guess what? There you are, Hannah. You get 18 months. And one of the aggravating factors, there was an option apparently in the great state of New Mexico where if it's if this aggravating factor is not present, you can get out at like 50% of your time with like time off for good behavior and this, that, and the other. The judge found that because she showed basically no remorse, took no responsibility, and was still blaming everyone else for it, that this aggravating factor was present. So Hannah is going to serve at least 85% of her time. So she managed to take what could have been a 9-month sentence, credit for time served, could have, gotten it out that way, but no, she's getting 85% of her time. So, yeah. Next step, we've got Mr. Baldwin, who's going to be going to court on July 9th. Folks, I got to say it, and this isn't just me. I will personally say it. I've done Alec Baldwin streams on here before. I may even consider streaming the trial if that's possible at that time. I don't know what I'll be doing right then. But, I will say this much. I've said it. 2 or 3 of the attorneys on LawTube have said it, including the lovely and talented Emily D. Baker, that if she was Alec Baldwin's attorney, they'd be trying to talk plea deals right now. Remember, assistant director Dave Hall took a plea deal. He took a plea deal and got off with like time served, probation, and some community service and like an ankle monitor for a couple of months. Very, very, very light one, boom. And, now we have, this one, Alex trials set to go July 9th, and we're going to see how that plays out. Yeah, Minnie, as you well know, I've been neck deep in the whole Murdaugh co-conspirator situation. I'm sick to death of the wealthy and elite folks skirting justice. Yeah, well, Hannah was neither wealthy nor elite, and she definitely did not skirt much of anything. She took this one on the chin, unfortunately. And I feel bad. Like I said, I feel worse for her dad, Thal, because he, again, was a man among men in the firearms industry. Have the utmost respect for him. But this little girl was apparently half the time high as a kite, partying every night at the hotel. And, when they started looking into anything, and they had 2 previous negligent discharges on the scene. And you know what? It's your job to make sure that it's not a real bullet in the gun. It's that simple. Is this a real bullet or not? And if you can't tell the difference, you probably don't need the job of armorer. Yeah. Agreed. This sends a message, and it's a well-needed message. And again, I'm hoping, that as it all comes through, we see Alec Baldwin get the message, because you know what? Alec, I know his big interview with George Stephanopoulos. If you go back, I have a big Alec Baldwin indicted stream set up, and you can find it in there. Yep. And it goes through the whole thing, the dates, the reports, and everything else. I've got the clips of the reports in there. The bottom line is I've got pictures of his finger being all over the bang switch. He had his finger on the trigger of that weapon all day that day. He was pulling that trigger all day, and it was an old single action Cowboy Colt, and it was a Pietra actually, but it was an old single action Cowboy revolver. And the minute they started playing with the hammer, he's had his finger on the trigger all day. He doesn't even have the brains to keep your booger hook off the bang switch. So what happened? A bang. And that bang, ended Halyna Hutchins' life. Yeah, it was even funny watching. One of the comments from Hannah was complaining about the medic there being incompetent. The medic who tried valiantly to save Hannah's life being incompetent. Folks, I read the autopsy report. With what that slug from a .45 long Colt did to her body, where it entered, what it went through, and where it came out. And again, this report is on our locals page if you look for it. Hannah's fate was pretty much sealed if there had been a trauma surgeon right there. It took out a rib or 2 on the way in, through another of the back, the posterior rib, shattered her spine at about, I think, T8 or T6, and she went to the ground. She drowned in her own blood. It was not pretty, and she, that's why she collapsed to the ground so quickly, because her spine was severed when the bullet shattered it. I mean, it had enough energy that it went into the number 2 person, Joel Souza. So, yeah, we can get into that sometime, but yeah, the medic was incompetent. It took the helicopter too long to get there. Well, maybe if you hadn't loaded the damn gun with a real bullet. And as a street medic who's worked a long time, there's sometimes, no matter what we do with EMS or the trauma team or anything else, the human body can only take so much. And unfortunately, Halyna Hutchins' body could not take that insult and survive. So bad for her, but nice to see some accountability on that one. Now let's get into Memphis, Tennessee, and see what we can get into here. Oh, this gets even better. It gets even better in our night because, did I say Hannah? Well, it's bad for Hannah. It's worse for Halyna. But anyway, let's get into Memphis, Tennessee, because there needs to be some more accountability doled out here. 3/22 of 24. Now, I've been following this case. It happened a couple weeks ago, and it was like, okay, It was interesting at first. Shots fired outside of school. Apparently, there had been an altercation back during the school day. Mother picks up her little boy after the altercation and checks him out of school. I guess the school figured at this point he wasn't like hurt badly or didn't need to go to a doctor or hospital or anything. But basically, let's separate these kids. Mama's worried about her little boy, so she checks him out of school and leave. Well, they return back to the school at the dismissal time. Maybe to get his homework, maybe to get some books he needs, maybe to talk to the teachers about what work he missed. No. The student exits the cars as the other students are being dismissed and opens fire, firing multiple shots. Fortunately, and the reason we didn't hear about this sooner is he missed everybody. He basically wasn't a very good shot, fortunately, for the kids he was shooting at. Mama just drove this kid back to school, and he's opening fire. And then Mama gets out of the car, and the two of them take off on foot with law enforcement and school security in pursuit. They get back to the car where they came in, and they take off. Later that day, they're picked up at their house, and a gun, 9mm, is found in the son's room. Okay, Mama, you've just watched your kid open fire on students at a school, and you are now helping him escape from said school and taking him home, and he's still got the gun in his room when the popos get there. Lady, you know how they say maybe you need to be a parent, not a friend? I'm going to go with that one. We wonder, we all hear all this drama about how so much violence is going on and how so much, no, we need to do something about this. We're watching parents not be parents. And, I'll say this, and I don't want to go down the whole thin blue line diatribe. I got into a real head-to-head the other night with Sniper and York about, cops are bad or cops are assholes or anything else. And I was trying to explain, look, I'm not going to say there's not some jerk cops out there. I'm not going to say there's not some real idiots out there. You've seen us do the Acorn video 2 or 3 times and laugh at it. You've seen us laugh at all sorts of other stupid popo stuff. However, that being said, we're asking police to fix a society sometimes that this is what the high school kids are doing. And mom is helping them escape from it. I'm sorry, but this is how society is breaking down. I've got actually a whole series coming up on the great state of Tennessee because currently Memphis has a homicide rate higher than most third world countries. And we'll be getting into that in the whole special segment on it. So yeah, Popo goes out to the house and imagine that the kid still got the gun in his room. Mom ain't done nothing. Well, guess what? Mother was indicted Thursday of this week. She's facing multiple charges. Thursday of last week, facing multiple charges. That being said, we'll see how this plays out. Of course, Mama is trying to play the card. Why are they going after me? Well, you watched your high school age kid open fire at a school at classmates. Fortunately, the kid didn't hit anything. But I think they were getting Mama with accessory after the fact to attempted murder. So Mama's going to be dealing with that. I'm going to follow this case and see where it goes. I think this is, you got a prayer in Memphis? Well, maybe you don't these days, unfortunately. And it's sad. I mean, I used to go over to Tennessee once in a while on little weekend getaways, 3-day weekends when I lived up in Asheville, North Carolina. And, at the time, my fiance and I would go over, and typically we'd find a place outside one of the major cities, but close enough that we could commute in. It was a little bit cheaper, and we could sort of commute in for the day and check out Nashville or check out Chattanooga, some cool cities over there. Go check out, Knoxville, different areas. Honestly, folks, if you're going to Memphis, I'd recommend like level 4 plates, carrier, The good thing is, they have pretty decent gun laws, so we can carry too. Unlike New York or California, we know how that would work out. You know, it's kind of like Texas. It's crazy, but at least you're allowed to defend yourself. So, for my Texas folks out there. But yeah, mom got indicted on that one. Oops, sorry. Don't feel bad about it, mama. You know, because it is what it is. And, you know, as you see, things are crazy. All righty. Well, that's kind of what I'm winding down with for tonight. Do y'all have any questions, comments, observations? What's been going on in y'all's world? Any fun stuff? I know, like I said, Minnie and I got to go to the gun show this past weekend. We had a decent time. Picked up my holster, got it made up. Been digging around with some of this stuff, and the more I look at Memphis, you know, it is what it is. I wonder, do you think stuff like this Memphis stuff, do you think that would happen around, say, Florida? What do you think?
As to the person, we don't know which homeowner shot at him. I guess they think that they did something wrong, which they did not. If somebody's breaking in your house, you're more than welcome to shoot them in Santa Rosa County. We prefer that you do, actually. So whoever that was, you're not in trouble. Come see us. We have a gun safety class we put on every other Saturday. And if you take that, you'll shoot a lot better, and hopefully you'll save taxpayers money. So with that, questions?
Yeah, as our dear friend, the Honorable Judge Simpson would say, that would be a no. Okay, North Carolina carjacking incident. I saw bits and pieces of it, Scott. I have not had a chance to dig into it yet. I know the one you're talking about. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull something up real quick here. I will see what I can do. Let's see here. North Carolina carjacking. Scott, if you want to throw a link, that'd be great. Otherwise, North Carolina, Good Samaritan opens fire on carjacker before stolen truck mows him down, I think is the one we're looking at here. Is okay. Okay. Alrighty. Well, I've currently got one I've got one person on the YouTube world, Mary Sunshine. I'm sorry, you may have to join us for a quick Rumble flop. Scott, you think I should do a Rumble flop? Is that what you're recommending I do here? Let's see here. I can do a Rumble flop. Let's see. Yeah, unfortunately, in order to keep the channel up on YouTube, I've kind of got to be a little bit YouTube safe. And so every now and then we just run out the door screaming and go to Rumble.